Astrological forecast for 2026 for representatives of the Scorpio sign. Throughout 2026, there will be significantly fewer tense astrological aspects than there were in 2025, and than there will be in 2027. Overall, 2026 will bring your zodiac sign more joy, as if more vivid colors of this world. More precisely, you will have the feeling that now you can allow yourself to demonstrate your true emotional states. That is, there will be more joy both internally and in external events as well. Throughout this year, your sense of inner freedom will strengthen. You will feel that you can be yourself, that there is no longer a need to hide something or play a role that is no longer relevant or acceptable for you. In 2026, a very important foundational issue for you will be resolved, which may be related to your position on the social and career ladder, but most likely this will happen closer to the middle of November. Or this matter may be resolved earlier, but the final results will be obtained by mid-November. In 2026, the axis of the karmic lunar nodes will change its position. This significantly shifts the focus of your attention from matters of the heart, creativity, career choices, and professional direction, as well as issues related to your children, their education, and your relationships. The focus of attention will shift to more concrete and rational matters. This year, a 2-year program begins for you, essentially a search for your ideal place under the sun. This will concern choices related to your place of residence, as well as how your family relationships are organized and function. For convenience, let us divide our forecast by areas of life, directions, and then by periods, by months of 2026. Let's start with self-realization. The first house of your horoscope, the house of yourself, your personality, in 2026 will be influenced by the following factors. A favorable aspect from the axis of karmic lunar nodes, an aspect from the planet Uranus, which will be in the sector of crises, and an aspect from generous Jupiter in the sector of opportunities. This indicates that the main sphere of opportunities for your zodiac sign during the first half of 2026 will be matters related to the 9th astrological sector. This is the sphere of education, teaching, international cooperation, travel and trips, the organization of your own business, as well as trade on international platforms. This is also the sphere of studying foreign languages. This is the sphere of opportunities to obtain certain documents, diplomas, certificates, or other documents that grant you rights or open the opportunities that interest you. The North Karmic Lunar Node, the node of the future, until August 18, 2026, will be located in your 5th astrological sector, which is the house of creativity in all its various manifestations. This is the house of everything we choose, guided by the voice of our heart. This indicates that you may choose a new profession for yourself or simply study something that greatly interests you, even if it is unrelated to your work and is purely a hobby. The planets Saturn and Neptune at the very beginning of 2026 leave your 5th astrological sector. This shows that over the past several years, you had the opportunity, if you wanted, to create something in the material world based on your inspiration, desire, and creative potential. Since the 5th house, the house of creativity, is also the house of our children. For some, this creative potential may have manifested through the birth of a child or caring for a child. That is, you could direct all your attention to the process of raising or giving birth to your child. For those expecting radical changes in life and affairs in 2026, Uranus in the sector of your 8th house of the horoscope, the house of crises, shows that if in some area of life or situation a crisis has truly matured, there is no need to fear it. Indeed, it is precisely when we go through a conditional catharsis that we renew ourselves, because the 8th house, the house of crisis, is the house of the phoenix. It is the sector of rebirth. Many people will have interesting opportunities in 2026 related to work and also to obtaining important documents, acquiring a new status, and experiencing a transition to a new level. Although all this may not proceed as easily as it seems, especially the period around mid-July, which may require effort. Overall, 2026 will bring at least one very significant turning event or decision. This is not a let-it-be decision. It is a decision of the type, I know what will happen, I understand the consequences, and I am ready for this. The next area is finance. Revolutionary Uranus, the planet of the future, will be in the sector of your joint and shared finances and resources. It will remain in your 8th house of the horoscope for many years. Uranus gives everyone new experiences that we have never had before. For you, this new experience will manifest specifically in the financial sphere. Practically, how might this appear for your sign? The 8th house, where Uranus will be, is the sector of investments and passive income. Uranus gives new experiences here, for example, when we invest money in something intangible or unusual for us. For instance, investing in projects, buying shares or cryptocurrency, or even acquiring physical items we never planned to buy. Uranus gives a new experience in financial structure management. For example, if you always worked and provided for yourself, someone may retire, start receiving social benefits, go on maternity leave, or live temporarily on a partner's income. Or, if the nature of your income was always regular, now you may find a job where your income depends on results, such as commission-based or performance-based pay. This can also be a new experience, like purchasing old property, fully renovating it, dividing it into parts, and selling it. That is, Uranus provides new activities and processes that bring income, but are completely new to you. Uranus in the 8th house also gives a desire for independence and freedom. For some, this may involve property division, for example, with business partners wanting to separate joint assets or business and manage it independently. During this time, you may also learn new technical methods for making payments, managing finances, or storing money in electronic wallets or cryptocurrencies. Throughout the year, a significant one-time sum may pass through your hands, for instance, from a transaction, purchase, or sale. You may also re-register part of your property, for example, to your child. You may complete long-term financial obligations, such as paying off a loan or mortgage. Jupiter, the generous planet of the solar system, on June 30th, moves into the sector of your 10th astrological house. This indicates growth in income due to career success. In general, in the financial sector, expect something new. Revolutionary, unusual, and simultaneously contributing to income growth. The next area is personal life. The North Karmic lunar node will continue its transit through your 5th house until August 18, symbolizing emotions and love. For those seeking relationships, this is a wonderful time, making your personal life more active. New moons and full moons in your 5th house may bring bright personal events, especially on March 19 and August 28. On February 14, 2026, Saturn, the karmic manager, leaves your 5th house, a position it held for 30 years. This shows that matters of personal life will no longer be a zone of high responsibility or tension for you. From February 14 onward, you will feel that your life is brighter and freer, and you can finally openly express your emotions. For those seeking relationships, especially until August 18, 2026, it is a time when a long-awaited meeting or acquaintance may occur. From February 14 onward, issues related to dating, meetings, and beginning relationships will feel easier. For those in stable partnerships or marriages who do not desire change, 2026 will bring new joint plans or matters concerning your partner's personal or work affairs, influencing your own decisions. You will feel that the stage of managing emotions and feelings in the couple is over, and now more practical and grounded matters will take precedence. This year, you may focus on your partner's health, encouraging a healthy lifestyle, proper nutrition, or giving up bad habits. 2026 may also bring office romance or at least flirtation at work. If you are in a relationship where a crisis has matured and thoughts of ending it arise, joint plans or shared property will no longer stop this process, but only in truly critical relationships. The next area is children. Until August 18, 2026, the North Karmic lunar node will be in this sector, often indicating pregnancy, childbirth, or immersion in child-related matters. Relationships with adult children may be challenging, not due to events, but due to understanding each other. Differences in perspectives may feel vast. Children may choose a path different from what you imagined. The best approach is to give unconditional love, so the child knows your love is unaffected by choices or events. Since your 5th house falls in Pisces, adult children may live far away, in another city or country. The North Karmic lunar node remaining here until August 18 also often indicates a pregnancy that may be kept private initially. The next area is work and career. This sector will receive maximum favorable astrological influence, excellent news for those focused on career growth. Jupiter, the most generous planet, moves from the 9th to the 10th house on June 30, shifting from education to career and status. This often indicates an opportunity to work in your specialty or advance to a higher position, managing processes or people. Especially relevant for those who spent the past 2 years studying, either professionally or in foreign languages. From June 30, 2026 to mid-July 2027, this is a perfect period for career growth, improving social and professional standing. However, career advancement may feel challenging, with heavy responsibilities and obligations, especially in early July. Your 10th house, the house of status and social standing, falls in Leo, the sun's domicile. It is important for you to feel a significant role, be at the center of attention, and acknowledged in your professional environment. This may also indicate working independently, with VIP clients, or holding prestigious professional titles. From June 30, 2026 to mid-July 2027, Jupiter in the midheaven promises success and recognition, a transit occurring once every 12 years, previously from July 2014 to July 2015 for your sign. The conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in your 6th house in 2026 occurs in the sector of practical work, indicating difficulty concentrating on routine tasks requiring attention to detail. It may be easier to focus on global objectives rather than specific tasks, where mistakes may occur due to inattention or minor errors. The next area is health. Saturn and Neptune influence this sphere throughout 2026. Saturn briefly transited your health sector in 2025, from late May to early September. Reflect on whether this affected your health or lifestyle. Saturn typically imposes self-discipline, asceticism, and helps establish a healthy routine. Physically, Saturn governs bones, joints, teeth, and the spine. During its transit, attention often goes to joint and spine health, general mobility, and flexibility. Preventive care, dental attention, and systematic exercise are emphasized, including flexibility exercises, back strengthening exercises, swimming, yoga, and various gymnastics. Saturn's main influence is systematic and disciplined activity, so all physical exercises, even simple walks, should be done regularly and consistently. Saturn also requires from us asceticism, renunciation of certain useless excesses. This can also be a rejection of some bad habits, including habits such as going to bed late or sitting for a long time in an uncomfortable position, scrolling through news feeds on your phone. That is, Saturn contributes to conscious renunciation of habits and hobbies that simply steal our time and energy. The conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, which occurs in 2026 specifically in your health sector, is often an indicator of early morning waking. Night owls should not be alarmed. Saturn symbolizes the schedule, and Neptune, speaking in terms of time of day, symbolizes the pre-dawn hour. This time is approximately from 3:30 to 5:00 a.m., that is, the time before sunrise. For your zodiac sign, it is very favorable throughout 2026 to wake up before sunrise and calmly prepare for the day, or to perform some physical or energy practices during this time, of course, if there is such an opportunity. The next sphere is the home and real estate, the place of residence. This is a key area of changes and transformations for your zodiac sign both in 2026 and 2027. In this sector of your horoscope is the planet Pluto, and from August 18, the transit of the North Karmic lunar node, the node of the future, joins it. This sets a task for you, forms a need to make certain efforts in order to find the perfect place under the sun, a place of residence. Such astrological influence often indicates relocation, a change of residence, as well as intra-family changes, expansion of the family, or a move of the entire family. Or, for example, you may move somewhere closer to your adult children. There may be a strong desire to acquire housing or real estate specifically for yourself, for living there, and not just as an investment. Throughout the year, there may be a small period of uncertainty, a suspended state when it is unclear whether to do something with your property, whether it is the right time to move. And if the decision has already been made, there may be a period of uncertainty about when it is best to do this, whether to move, start renovations, or acquire real estate. Questions related to work, to some documents, permissions, or questions concerning the status of one of the members of your family may all influence and create such a period of uncertainty. For example, when everything is ready for the move, but the child needs to finish the academic year at a certain school or educational institution, it is better to wait a few months and then move. Or vice versa, when not everything is ready for the move, but the child already needs to choose a school for the next academic year, and this accelerates the process. Since the sector of your fourth house of the horoscope falls into the sign of Aquarius, which is a symbol of freedom, there may also be a brief period of life in rented housing, or several moves in a short period, or a life as if in 2 homes, 2 families, in 2 places or 2 countries. Throughout the year, you may be engaged in processing documents related to your place of residence. These can be property ownership documents or bills related to your real estate. And since the planet Pluto, which is in the sector of your home and property, also symbolizes pipes and everything that passes through them, this may indicate reconstruction of some system in your home. For example, water supply, heating, or gas supply. That is such a combination of factors. Pluto and the North Karmic lunar node in this sector will inevitably lead to some transformations connected with the place of your residence, with the sale of real estate, with moving, renovation, or acquiring property. Or it can be intra-family transformations, such as the expansion of your family or the relocation of your adult children. Now let us briefly review 2026 by periods, by months. January. On January 3, there is a full moon in the sign of Cancer in your 9th house of the horoscope. The full moon is a time of completion, clarity, and results, and the 9th house is the sector of everything that is far away. It is also a sector that symbolizes legal and bureaucratic matters. The energy of this full moon will give you clarity regarding where to move next. Since the 9th house always shows our distant goals, distant horizons, this is a time when there will be clarity about what to strive for and in which direction to develop throughout the year. This time may also complete a process related to a trip, or the trip you have been preparing for may already occur. It may be completed, or this may be the time when you only purchase tickets. In this period, there may also be meetings or communication with your relatives, including distant relatives and also relatives of your partner. You may also receive important documents during this time. On January 18, there is a new moon in the sign of Capricorn in your 3rd house of the horoscope. For your sign, this is a moment when you will actively engage in work processes or processes related to your daily activities. The new moon in the 3rd house is the house of our roads, those daily, everyday routes. And the new moon represents something new. Therefore, you may have a new road along which you will regularly walk, stroll, or travel. The 3rd house also symbolizes our informational contact with the surrounding world, so a new topic for reflection, discussion, or searching for necessary information may appear. Something will occupy your thoughts. The new moon in the 3rd house often gives the desire to change means of communication or transportation. On January 26, the planet Neptune, the ruler of the matter of our soul, changes signs and enters the space of your 6th house of the horoscope. Neptune is a slow planet, and for several months it had already visited this sector of your horoscope in 2025, and now it comes here for its main long-term visit. Neptune changes our perception of reality, blurs boundaries. Here, the influence of Neptune will primarily affect how you organize your life, your daily activities. This includes household tasks and work matters. On January 27, a very important astrological event occurs, which should be noted in your calendar. On this day, the exact conjunction of Mars and Pluto occurs in your 4th house of the horoscope. The conjunction of these planets, both of which symbolize strength, power, energy, resources, and activity, generates an energy flow, a stream of power. Essentially, it begins a new 2-year Mars-Pluto cycle. For each of us, This means the moment when powerful transformational forces start to influence us and our affairs for the next 2 years. It is very important here that we ourselves set the vector of this force, that we choose the direction in which we will apply the maximum of our energy. Since this conjunction occurs in your 4th house of the horoscope, in the sector that symbolizes our home, property, and place of residence, these goals for you may include moving, renovation, construction, acquiring a plot of land or a country house, everything related to your residence and property. On this day, it is important to set a goal for which you will be willing to work for about 2 years, the duration of the Mars and Pluto cycle. February is a key month of the year. It is precisely in February that the processes we will engage in throughout the year are born at the event level. On February 1, there is a full moon in the sign of Leo in your 10th house of the horoscope. The full moon is completion, culmination, and the 10th house is the zenith of our horoscope, the house of our status, career, and reputation. This is the time when we achieve significant results in our activities. For someone, this is a period when you take up a new position, receive new responsibilities. For someone else, this period will bring an important event related to a person on whom the status of your affairs depends. In general, an event that changes your status may occur here. This can be marriage, the birth of a child, acquiring real estate, or receiving documents that determine and emphasize your status. This is also a time when you may have a conversation with a very bright, interesting, influential person. You may also visit some government institutions to resolve your issues. On February 14, Saturn, our karmic manager, changes signs and enters the sign of Aries in your 6th house of the horoscope. Saturn is a slow planet. In 2025, from the end of May to the beginning of September, Saturn already entered this sector of the horoscope for you. Now it comes here for its main visit. This is a test of patience, organization, and discipline. It can relate both to domestic and routine matters and to your work, as well as to developing a comprehensive plan for your health improvement. More details about the influence of this Saturn transit on each zodiac sign can be found in a separate video on my channel. And I will leave a link in the info box under this video. On February 17, a very important event occurs. On this day, there is a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius in your 4th house of the horoscope. This solar eclipse is the first eclipse of 2026 and the first eclipse in this sign, in this sector of your horoscope, for a long time. The first eclipse in a new sign, in a new sector of our horoscope, creates a feeling of a brief crisis or imbalance. Since this eclipse occurs in your 4th house of the horoscope, the sector that symbolizes our home, property, place of residence, and intrafamily matters, it may relate specifically to these topics. Here you may consider whether you need to move, renovate, or reconfigure something in your home, or there may be important events concerning one of your relatives. This is a time that only highlights a new task, the resolution of which will take 1.5 or even 2 years. On February 20, a historic astrological event occurs. On this day, the exact conjunction of Saturn and Neptune takes place in the sign of Aries in your 6th house of the horoscope. This conjunction marks the beginning of a new geopolitical era and also indicates a breakthrough in the possibilities of medicine and the creation of virtual reality. March. On March 3, a lunar eclipse occurs in the sign of Virgo in your 11th house of the horoscope. This lunar eclipse closes the first eclipse corridor of 2026. The first eclipse corridor is the period from February 17 to March 3. The lunar eclipse in the 11th house occurs in a favorable aspect relative to your sign. This eclipse will give you concrete, tangible results, which may be related to your studies, employment, or interaction with colleagues or clients. This is a time of concreteness, practical, visible results of your activity. For someone, it may be a period of completing a course of study or receiving the necessary information. For someone else, this eclipse will provide the opportunity to find the ideal balance between personal life and work. There may also be important events concerning your brother or sister. Someone may end membership in a group, such as a sports club, or there may be changes in your work team. On March 19, A new moon occurs in the sign of Pisces in your 5th house of the horoscope. The new moon represents the birth of new energy, and the 5th house is the house of that which brings us joy and pleasure. It is the house of our feelings, emotions, and emotional states. This is a time when there will be some news or new events related to your children. For someone, it may manifest in the sphere of personal life, as flirtation, invitation on a date, interest in a new person, or the interest of someone in you. This is also a time when you can start working on a creative project. It does not necessarily have to be something concrete. You may become interested in a book, novel, or a certain direction in art. This is also a time when you will make a new choice regarding what your heart calls you to. Since the 5th house is the house of our heart, and all choices made according to the voice of our heart, here you may make a new decision. For someone, this may be a period when you receive an invitation to a festive event, which will take place not on the same day, but slightly later. Nevertheless, this time may bring an invitation to an event worth attending. May is a very important month. It is also one of the key months of the year. It is a month of 2 full moons and a month that marks a moment of choosing our development strategy for the next 7 years. On the first day of May, there is a full moon in your zodiac sign, in the 1st house of your horoscope. A full moon represents culmination and completion. When a full moon occurs in our own sign, it signifies that the most important and relevant question for us at this period of time is being resolved. This is a time when we are in the spotlight, when attention is directed toward us, when people are talking about us, when there is genuine interest in us. It is a time of achievement, a time of results, or an important meeting that can change a lot. This period will bring you vivid results and clarity about what you have actually achieved, as well as what specifically in your affairs and plans requires adjustment. It is a time of success and summing up outcomes. On the 16th of May, there is a new moon in the space of the Taurus sign in your 7th house of the horoscope. A new moon represents the birth of new energy, and the 7th house is the sector of partnerships. In this sector, something new will appear. New joint plans with friends, your employer, or new plans within your personal life sector may emerge. There may be changes, significant events, or developments concerning your key partners. For some, this period may manifest as the beginning of a new relationship. In general, this is a time when your personal affairs and plans will be influenced by your partners and the circumstances in their lives. It is also a period when a greater flow of clients may come to you if your activities involve sales, attracting clients, or drawing attention to your products and services. Additionally, during this period, a longtime friend might propose a joint trip or some collaborative endeavor, at the very least a shared meeting. The 22nd of May is a very important day that should be noted in your calendar. On this day, there is a conjunction of the Sun and Uranus in the Gemini sign in your 8th house of the horoscope. This aspect indicates choice, the choice of our development strategy for the next 7 years. Uranus is a revolutionary planet. Uranus is the guide of reforms. It is a planet of the future. Therefore, on this day, it is important to consider through which activity or life sphere you will evolve over the following 7 years. This is crucial, because if we do not define the vector of this energy ourselves, the circumstances around us will shape changes and events in our lives independently, without our influence. Hence, it is important to reflect on which activity or direction you want to pursue, through which area of life you want to acquire new information and transform your reality. More details about this will be discussed in a separate video. On the 26th of May, there is a tense aspect between Mars and Pluto in the sky. This is a square, a 90 degrees angle, representing tension and conflict. On this day and the surrounding days, it is advisable not to plan significant events or make important decisions, as circumstances may unfold with more intensity and conflict than at other times. On the 31st of May, there is a full moon in your 2nd house of the horoscope. A full moon symbolizes completion and culmination, while the 2nd house represents finances and resources. This is a period that will provide you with the results you expect, primarily financial results. You may receive a payment you have been waiting for, or funds you expect may arrive. Some may visit a bank or financial institution to resolve financial matters. Others may settle debts or fulfill financial obligations. Overall, this period will give clarity regarding the level of income you can expect in the coming months. In June, there is a new moon in the Gemini sign in your 8th house of the horoscope. A new moon signifies the birth of new energy, and the 8th house is the sector of shared and joint finances and resources. It represents mutual settlements with other people, organizations, or the state. During this period, you may resolve financial matters, enter into contracts with companies for services, or sell major goods. This is also a time for submitting financial or tax reports. Changes related to the structure of your budget may occur. The income of your partner in your personal life may also change. This is a period when tenants in your property may change if you rent out real estate. Rental conditions may be altered, whether you are renting property or someone is renting from you. On the 20th of June, Uranus, the revolutionary planet of the future, will form tense aspects with the karmic lunar nodes, affecting your 5th, 8th, and 11th astrological fields. This indicates an important choice, perhaps an internal decision rather than an external event. It is crucial to make a choice that is unusual for you, a decision that breaks from your habitual behavior. On the 29th of June, there is a full moon in the Capricorn sign in your 3rd house of the horoscope. This full moon closes a topic of reflection or a path that is no longer relevant for you. The energy indicates that a task you were working on has either been resolved or has lost its relevance. This period may bring concrete events, such as receiving documents, passing an exam, concluding a deal, signing an agreement, or meeting friends you haven't seen for a long time. It may also involve a significant purchase, for example, electronics or household appliances. On the 30th of June, a major astrological event occurs. Jupiter, the generous planet, changes signs and moves into your 10th astrological field for an entire year. This field represents your status, reputation, and position on the social and career ladder. A full year begins in which you can achieve a great deal, enhance your authority at work, and obtain significant results from your activities. This is an excellent time for those planning career advancement. For some, this transit of Jupiter may also coincide with marriage. In essence, it represents changes in status, both professionally and personally, often in a positive direction. In July, there is a new moon in the Cancer sign in your 9th house of the horoscope. A new moon signifies new energy, new possibilities and opportunities, while the 9th house is the house of distant matters and foreign affairs. For some, this may manifest as a joint family trip. For others, it may involve resolving matters remotely or dealing with issues occurring in another city, region, or country. This period will provide you with necessary information. Bureaucratic matters, processes related to education, obtaining documents, certificates, or visas may be resolved. Later in the month, there is a full moon in the Aquarius sign in your 4th house of the horoscope. A full moon represents completion, clarity, and culmination, while the 4th house symbolizes home, property, and family. This full moon closes a topic or task, which could involve a shared family matter or an issue concerning close relatives. It may bring important results regarding the affairs of family members. This is also a period that clarifies matters related to your place of residence. Some may settle mortgage payments, sign lease agreements, or invest in real estate. Overall, it provides clarity concerning living arrangements and family relationships. In August, there is a solar eclipse in the Leo sign in your 10th house of the horoscope. This is the first solar eclipse in this sector in many years and initiates new developments related to your status, both personal and professional. It may bring events such as marriage, significant family matters, a new career position, important documents, or even childbirth. The solar eclipse indicates an opportunity, or rather a task, to transform your status. On the 18th of August, the axis of karmic lunar nodes changes sign and occupies the position of your 4th and 10th astrological fields for the next 1.5 years. This signifies a task to find your ideal place in life, including real estate and living arrangements, as well as matters of family composition and household organization. The second task involves changes in status, either through work and career, relocation, or changes in the composition of your family. Later in August, a lunar eclipse occurs in the Pisces sign in your 5th house of the horoscope, closing a question related to the fifth house. This may involve children, personal life, romantic recognition, or the decision to marry. It may also signify the completion of a creative project, hobby, work, or interior design tasks. The eclipse provides an opportunity to make an important life choice guided by your heart. In September, there is a new moon in the Virgo sign in your 11th house of the horoscope, the house of society. You may engage in new social or collective projects, meet like-minded individuals, join new social groups, or participate in discussions on platforms such as Telegram channels. It is also a time to initiate new tasks related to work, hobbies, or online projects. This period indicates increased social activity, communication, and collective engagement. Important news related to siblings or team members may also emerge. On the 26th of September, there is a full moon in the Aries sign in your 6th house of the horoscope. The 6th house represents daily life, routines, household matters, and work organization. This full moon may bring new schedules, new teams, new projects, or new employment arrangements. Health matters may also be resolved, including medical checkups, preventive treatments, or spa visits. This period signifies changes in daily rhythms, distribution of household responsibilities, and the formation of a new routine. October is a challenging month. It begins with a tense opposition between Mars and Pluto, both rulers of your sign, representing strength, power, influence, and unstoppable forces. On the day of the exact aspect, it is advisable to avoid important decisions or events, as situations may unfold with heightened tension, conflict, or aggression. Mars and Pluto will influence your 4th and 10th astrological fields, introducing external pressures that may compel action. It is recommended to spend this day calmly. Additionally, Venus turns retrograde, affecting your 1st and 12th houses. This period prompts a review of relationship principles, uncovering hidden issues in personal, social, or financial interactions. It is not favorable for initiating new relationships, but suitable for correcting issues in existing ones. In mid-October, a new moon occurs in the Libra sign in your 12th house of the horoscope. The 12th house represents endings, the past, and hidden matters. This new moon will help you address postponed or secret matters, clarify ongoing issues, and resolve matters of previous situations that cannot change. Changes may occur in a partner's schedule, and friends may seek your assistance. It may also signal the restoration of past relationships, both personal and professional. On the 26th of October, there is a full moon in the Taurus sign in your 7th house of the horoscope. The 7th house governs partnerships. This full moon brings clarity regarding partnerships, both personal and professional. It may signify the conclusion of interactions with a client or employer or provide insight into a personal partner's situation. It can also indicate important meetings, dates, or conversations. The influence of retrograde Venus advises caution in starting new relationships. But it is an excellent time to resolve issues in existing relationships. The energy of this full moon emphasizes that the most important events of this period are connected with other people, and the affairs of your partners may influence your personal plans. November is a very important month for your zodiac sign because on the 9th day there is a new moon in your sign, in the 1st house of your horoscope. This is essentially your personal new year, regardless of the exact day you were born. On this day, it is worth finding time to make plans for the year ahead, to reflect on what you want, and ideally to write down your plans on paper, to consider what you wish to achieve over the course of an entire year. This day essentially gives you strength and energy that will last for a full year until the next new moon in your sign. Therefore, it is important on this day to focus only on yourself, to be selfish in a positive sense of the word, to think about what you want for yourself, not for others, even for those closest to you, but purely for yourself. Consider how you want to organize your life and what you want to accomplish. On the 16th of November, a very rare and significant astrological event occurs. On this day, there is an exact conjunction of Jupiter with the southern karmic lunar node. This conjunction occurs in the sector of your status, your career, your authority, and your achievements. This is a very interesting conjunction because Jupiter is an expansive planet, providing opportunities, whereas the southern karmic lunar node, narrows the corridor of opportunities to help us find precisely the opportunity that is most relevant and correct for us at this particular moment. This conjunction represents the moment of realization, the realization of a program that has essentially matured. For you, this is especially significant, as this conjunction occurs at the zenith of your horoscope. It is a moment when you acquire a new status. For some, this may manifest through work, career, or social position. For others, it may be through achievements in creative pursuits or projects. For some, it may relate to personal life matters, and for others, through relocation or resolving issues connected to your place of residence. In any case, this is a time when an important and foundational event will take place for you. It is a moment for solving the most global and significant issue relevant to you at this period of time. On the 24th of November, there is a full moon in Gemini in your 8th house of the horoscope. A full moon signifies completion, culmination, and clarity, while the 8th house is the sector of shared and joint finances and resources. It represents financial interactions with other people, organizations, and the state. This full moon indicates the conclusion of a financial matter or issue related to money or property. Some may complete credit payments, close financial obligations, or resolve payment-related matters. For others, it may involve the resolution of matters connected to alimony, social benefits, or insurance. Someone may purchase an insurance policy for a car or medical insurance. Others may resolve tax-related issues, financial reporting, or work-related accounting matters. Some may deal with matters related to a joint budget or shared property with business partners, a personal partner, or parents. Additionally, during this period, you may receive income related to passive earnings, such as returns from past investments. In December, there is a new moon in Sagittarius in your 2nd house of the horoscope. A new moon represents the birth of new energy, while the 2nd house governs personal finances, personal assets, and personal property. This new moon brings something new plans related to work, new sources of income, and possibly new expense categories. Someone may open a bank account or card in a new institution, while others may make a purchase they have been preparing for. In other words, this is a time that introduces novelty into questions of your personal budget and income. On the 24th of December, there is a full moon in Cancer in your 9th house of the horoscope. A full moon signifies completion, culmination, and clarity, while the 9th house represents everything that is distant, whether geographically or temporally. This full moon suggests that a trip may occur, possibly to a pleasant and comfortable place for you. It is also a period when you may meet people, even those who live far away. The encounter will be pleasant, or it may simply be a joyful conversation or a letter. You may receive a package from someone. This period brings comfort, coziness, and positive feelings while being connected with something distant. For some, this may be an actual journey. For others, visitors or friends whom you have not seen for a long time may come, or you may receive important information or a package from afar. Important events occurring at a distance may also influence your personal plans. In general, the energy of this full moon is very cozy, providing results and a sense of calm and confidence. Of course, each month of 2026 and every significant astrological event will be discussed separately and in detail so that you can make the best use of favorable astrological influences in your life and work, and avoid mistakes or losses during periods of tense and conflict-driven astrological influence. In 2026, your zodiac sign begins a reformatting of the horoscope axis, which has 2 poles. The first pole represents my home, my place of residence, and my family. The second pole represents my work, my career, and my achievements. This will bring changes for many of you. These changes may not yet have obvious precursors. In other words, there may not yet be concrete plans to change anything in this direction, or there may be only thoughts without specifics. However, the first eclipse of 2026, which occurs on the 17th of February, will create a slight imbalance in your affairs precisely in these life spheres, along this axis of your horoscope. Specific events will follow later. This axis has 2 poles. The first is my home, my family, my place of residence. In this sphere, there will inevitably be changes that are favorable for you because the northern karmic lunar node, The node of the future, which expands possibilities, will transit this house of your horoscope. The second pole is my work, my career, and my achievements. The southern karmic lunar node will transit this sector, representing accumulated karma. Here, too, important decisions or events will occur. For your zodiac sign, the main task in 2026 and 2027 is to find or create your ideal place in the sun. This includes both material and emotional aspects. The goal is to establish a balance between personal space, family life, and professional achievements, creating a harmonious foundation for the coming years.